Hi, I'm Jim Van Dyke, CEO and founder of Breach Clarity. I'm also a courtroom expert witness on the nation's largest data breaches. My company protects consumers from identity theft, scam, and fraud crimes that cost U.S. financial services institutions $39 billion last year alone. And we take the mystery out of how every particular one of the 3 to 4 average new U.S. data breaches that occur every single day creates a unique pattern of identity fraud risk that must be communicated to consumers. But sadly, that's not happening. We tell people what those unique risks are for any particular data breach, and then we, most importantly, tell people what action steps they now need to prioritize in order to minimize those identity theft, scam, and fraud risks. Data breach notifications, those notices that come in the mail or perhaps through email, following any one of these new 3 to 4 breaches that occur in an average US day, they're shamefully self-promoting to the breached company, and they're not looking out for victims by communicating in plain and simple language. Here's what they need to be doing. They need to tell people how bad the data breach was. For instance, at breachclarity.com, and our free tool provides a 1 to 10 scale. 2, what kinds of identity crime risks? We use 12 categories that follow U.S. law enforcement standards. Are the consumer is most at risk of following any particular data breach? 3, what the consumer most needs to do to protect themselves against these new particular risks created by the breach in order to stop the breach from turning into fraud. Let's take the tax collector's office for Polk County, TCPC, notice that was received by 450,000 Floridians recently. As shown on breachclarity.com, the breach has a mid-range score of 3 and raised primary consumer risks of fraudulent new credit accounts and access to existing accounts, because criminals commonly use SSNs to commit these particular crimes. As shown on breachclarity.com, recommended action steps for this breach include locking or freezing credit, credit report monitoring, and setting fraud alerts. Now, Polk County actually did communicate some of this, but only after soft-pedaling their accountability and risks, leaving off the SSN exposure for many victims altogether, and then burying the most important recommendations. I see this happen every single day after nearly every single data breach, and we need to hold breached organizations to a much higher standard. There will always be data breaches, which necessarily means we will always have identity theft, scam, and frauds. Yet when organizations suffer a data breach, they must and they can do better. Breach notification letters should speak only in plain language that everyone can understand, communicating what was compromised, what the risks are, what consumers need to do now without any of the omission, obfuscation, and self-promotion that we see in almost every single data breach notice. One way to start this superior communication that works on behalf of consumers is by using our free and impartial Breach Clarity tool to learn what the severity, risks, and essential consumer safety action steps are following any of the 3 to 4 breaches that occur every average U.S. day. Those who are interested in consumer protection can also reach out to us directly at breachclarity.com for far more outputs than are available on our free website. Let's stop the onslaught of data breaches from turning into costly identity theft, scam, and frauds that put consumer financial well-being at risk. Thank you.